Let me break out the blue tape here. One thing I was really trying to make sure of with the tape is that I didn't have any overhang, especially in this area, which I've got a little bit. I'll go back and trim that out. But as you can see, it's a really tight fit in there with the action. And I don't want the tape influencing where the action sits. In other words, I don't want it causing the action to, that few thousandths in there interfering with the action sitting against the wood. So I'm going to do a little bit more trimming on that. Now if I had been thinking when I put the tape on this side, I'd have just eyeballed it and got it really close like I did this side with no overhang. That's part of learning. It's looking pretty good. I think we're good with that. Okay, we got the stock all taped up. Now it's time to start on the action, prepping it. And this is the part that kind of worries me just a little bit here. And anyway, I'll see what happens. And I'm using clear shoe polish for this. That's going to be my release agent. And basically, I'm just going to cover all the metal surfaces here with this. And then I'm going to go back with plumber's putty and fill in all the crevices where, you know, any epoxy could seep into and cause me some problems. And again, I'm not trying to show anybody what to do here. If anything, I'm showing you what not to do. I'm just learning and carrying y'all along for this ride. All right. I'm going to start with my fingers here. I just want to make sure I coat all of this. I should probably tape up this recoil lug before I put the wax on here because that tape is never going to stick if I don't. So let me back up and punt real quick. You know, folks, I am not pretending to be some kind of expert here. I'm making this up as I go, as I am sure it is very apparent to y'all. I'm going to try to cut this shape out here. I'm going to attempt put this action here. That turned out pretty decent. Good. So let's get back to this. First thing I want to do is just smear some on release agent on here. And I don't want any of the wax just caked on here. I want a thin, uniform coating. Right now I am just putting, I'll go back up and even it out shortly. This is just a good film on here to work with. And it's pretty neat to be able to go watch videos on all this. When I was young, I kind of knew what, I'm going to use a brush here. Again, to see the really detailed explanation of all this, you need to check out Gun Blue. I believe it's $4.90. He's just got great information. All right, well, as I was saying, when I was younger, pre-internet, you didn't get to see all this. I kind of knew what bedding was, but I mean, my family, we were hunters. We hunted. And we hunted a lot with old military rifles because they were cheap. That's what we could afford. And we didn't reload. Reloading's great if you're into guns, and I've always been into guns, and that's why I got into reloading. But again, when I was young, we were either working or hunting. There was no, reloading's a hobby. Which hunting's a hobby, but we were more serious about getting some meat in the freezer. I'll put some release agent all over this tape as well. I want it in all these little crevices. Well, it's just really neat that we've got so much information these days, and we can learn so much about how to do things. in the past, it's just, you had to kind of figure it out as you went, or just know somebody that could show you. If you didn't know anybody that could show you, you just didn't know. In fact, back then we didn't even know enough to know we didn't know on a lot of things. I mean, I had heard of guys that had their rifles glass bedded, and it's always called glass bedding then. And I knew about what it was. I knew it was to stabilize, and keep in mind, all the stocks then were wood. I mean, you didn't have synthetic stocks and pillar bedding and all that stuff you have now. I really want to make sure I get a lot in this area here. And truthfully, I'm not 100% sure how to handle magazine. I've got my release agent on everything. Now I want to take some plumber's putty. Some people use modeling clay, and so I was following Gun Blue, and he recommended plumber's putty, and I had that around the house anyway, so that worked out pretty good. And what I want to do is plug up every single hole on here that I can. And I shouldn't have any epoxy in this area. But you never know. Folks, if you ever think a gunsmith charges too much for the work they do, think about how tedious this is, how time consuming it is. And if you were to carry this to a gunsmith, how much time he would have invested in doing this for you. No, I don't think they are overcharging in the least. Anything, I'd say they don't charge enough. Because as someone who is here actually doing this, this is very, very tedious work. All right, that's looking pretty decent. Now for my action screws. I want to make sure they're good and coated. Release agent. And I know I keep calling it release agent instead of shoe polish, which is what it is, but I spent a lot of time in castings, foundries when I was young. Just kind of got used to calling it anything you put on to keep stuff from sticking. And that's a release agent. There we go, that's looking good. I see one real small hole right here that spring. Truthfully, I probably don't need anything there, but I'd really hate to find out I did the hard way. All right, folks, I think we're looking pretty good here. I'm going to put this magazine in when I assemble it. So therefore, I better put some release agent on it. And I probably don't need to, but I'm worried about this area. And I'm going to have bedding along here. I'm thinking if the magazine's in, then maybe that'll prevent any of the bedding material from entering it. Good there. And just to be on the safe side, I have no idea where this bedding material is going to flow. And I don't need it mechanically bonding to anything. I don't think any of this will be affected, but hey, let's want to take the chance. We're here, let's coat it all. Okay, I think I got everything ready to go here. And I've put my stock in my vise. Got my release agent, all my holes plugged. Yeah, I think we're about ready to go with this. And one of the concerns I have, and I'm just trying to think all this through before I, do this, because once I start with the epoxy, it's non-stop then, and just about to that point. When I put the action in here, all right, I pour my epoxy, I put the action in, I can get one of my action screws in the stock with it right here where it's at, which reminds me I need to have this ready. And the long one goes in the back. Yep. All right. But I'm not going to be able to put the front action screw in. So I'm going to have to take it out of the vise, and there's going to be some movement there that I just assume not have, but that's pretty much what I'm going to have to do here. All right, so now I need to mix up my JB weld. And this is just straight off the shelf. And like I say, from everything I read, it looks pretty good. And I've used JB weld in the past, and it always worked great. Yeah, I would film all this after it quit raining just to keep you off from having to listen to all the noise, but it's pretty much past that now. And that's why you do the blue tape. Just a little quieter. Yeah, I did not want the quick dry because I knew I was going to need some working time here. I don't want to get that too far up. I know once I put the action in, a lot of that's going to work its way up. That recoil law is going to displace a lot of the compound that I've got down in that recess there. All right, we're ready for the moment of truth here. And I want to drop this straight in. While I am pressing back. That feels pretty good. I think I'm not going to do that. I should probably pull that out. That's going to get into more than I'm wanting to get into right now. Unless we're thinking all this through or not thinking it through, comes in. I've got a lot of release agent on that magazine, so maybe that'll protect the follower that I should have taken off, and that was just not good. All the things you don't want to happen. That was it. And back to learning experiences. I'm going to say they're not always fun. All right, folks, that was not good. Now, this is where the electrical tape comes in. We survived that. And I can say I got some cleanup to do. So what I'm going to do is let this JB weld harden a little bit, but not let it fully cure. Anyway, I'm going to let this harden and see what happens. And like I So before it sets, I mean, just when it's kind of stiff, I'm going to come back and do some cleanup, which I have a lot of cleanup I need to do. So, all right, that's done. I can breathe a little sigh of relief now.